Greetings YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This is a really interesting time to do this video. Not that there's ever a good time to do a video about lost connections in the game that cause you to have to restart or reconnect the game, which depending on what you are doing is going to make you lose precious chances to win Alliance War fights, Alliance Quest fights, complete boss fights, arena fights, you name it. Kabam, in the past week, really in the past 24 hours, has said that they have run into some unexpected problems with the input fixes that is keeping them from opening it to a larger audience of testers. Keep in mind, we were told that this would be for sure fixed by October/November, and then at the latest February, and then, okay, it's going to be March. Well, now it's mid-April. It's April 15th. And so, because of this, some of you, including my man Eli Gray, have reached out to me to say, Prof, I'm hearing from so many people, especially those of you that do Map 8 Alliance Quest and that fight in some of the highest tiers of Alliance War, that you're experiencing issues that you've actually, some of you have only heard about. Like, you've only heard about the parry and dex and frame rate issues, but you've been blessed that you've never seen it. And then all of a sudden, now you're seeing it. What makes this week particularly frustrating is that we are only, presumably, even though we haven't seen any confirmation in the game itself, a week away from spring cleaning offers, since that has been the case about the third weekend of April for the last 2 years starting in 2020. And if you're thinking spring cleaning, I don't even remember what those deals were. I did a video in which I talked about the history of both years and a recap on my channel earlier today. Go check it out, please. But in the meantime, we are here talking about this lost connection when the game forces you to reset. Now, this has come up especially at the top tiers of the most pressure situations, whether that be fighting that boss in Map 8 of Alliance Quest or maybe a different fight in War. And so this has led to so many different forum posts that have been sent to me. But let's see. First, we have the behind the scenes from my man Eli Gray asking different people, and HM Demera is asking this. We've noticed it in the alpha and seeing a lot of complaints in War and Alliance Quest, says Chronos 8. I've noticed this as well. Same here, the DJ Project. So, M Wood, DJ Project, shout out to ISO 8, ISO 8G, ISO 8L, ISO 8Y, so many ISO 8s. The ISO 8 family, really. And so, K-League says, I had a mishap earlier, thought it was my fault. I'm glad to hear this. Maybe it's not his fault. Found this buried in the old post from last year. Nothing right now. Hopefully soon. Kabam Mike again said on April 13th. Thought you sucked more than usual. So basically, quietly fix what has been broken for the last year. And how does Kabam send out a sorry package? Well, Kabam hasn't really sent out a full compensation package. That was supposed to be sent out, and they've been talking to this about it for 8 months when everything was complete. Now, I talked about this yesterday on my channel, but part of the reason why I believe Kabam has stopped talking about compensation is we have the spring cleaning event. We just had Act 7 this month come out for at least 7.4, the ability to explore Act 7. I should say Act 7's been out for a while. And so because of this, you're seeing them take a step back to say, well, if this is an opportunity to make a bunch of money off our players, we're not going to give them free stuff that might decrease the demand for crystal shards or rank up materials or even revives, energy refills, potions, etc. So from an economy standpoint, it makes sense, but it's also frustrating to think about as a player base. So we continue to see, although I must say, a lot of people are spelling Parry like Matthew Perry, and that's not exactly a friend in me. So Parry is seriously jacked up. It seems worse than it has been in 6 months. How in almost a year, and this is not only be fixed, but getting worse. Now, these are the kind of post Skydad 23 that will often get summoners banned because Kabam doesn't like complaining. Now let's see some responses to this, shall we? Stellar, I thought the April update was supposed to address the parry issue. I don't see any improvement at all. It's even worse on some fights. Again, this is a very consistent thread that is being sent my way, especially in the past couple of days. Not out yet, should have its own update. You can see, so the expectation was that this would be the case. And then April 5th, I've read several times this thread and already received the compensation several times, and I keep wondering when this parry would be fixed, since at Act 7.4 Paradox, it is significantly important whether our move is parry or not, since I am for the very edge, parry or dodge. Dodge? doesn't work, and I suffer unnecessary damage during compensation for Act 7 not for Alliance Quest and Alliance War. Well, not any that we have heard, obviously. And then now we have, of course, more posts. Content creators have had their hands on the input beta fix. It's been going on 3 weeks. Here is a classic story from Mr. Zbot34. Was just fighting in war and I dashed back, and instead of an evade or a dexterity showing on screen, my champ just sat there to take a 5-hit combo from the AI opponent and dead. The second try on this fight, I tried to parry and it showed on the screen, but did the AI opponent get stunned on a node that is sadist, limber, and unstoppable every 10 seconds? The answer was no. Now, before anyone asks, no, I didn't get screenshots, but if it happens again, surely I will. When you're in a timed fight in war, the last thing you think about, especially when you're getting wrecked, is I should pause the game and take a screenshot. I don't blame you. This is also why it's important to record everything, because then a video doesn't require you to stop the gameplay to take a freeze frame / screenshot. Secondly, no, I didn't cause Limber to max out, as it was the first parry of the match and the second time fighting. I just wanted to add my continued issues with both of these mechanics still not working. This was on an iPad with the latest iOS update for that iPad. I know and understand there's supposed to be a fix coming, but hopefully Kabam realizes this is still very much an issue for iOS and Android users alike to this very date. So, look, I get, for some of you, if I ask the question, and usually I like to ask questions in video posts like this, so if I ask, is parry worse than usual, some of you are going to say, actually, it's fine. I notice no difference or no issues at all, and that's awesome, and I don't want you to lie just to build up drama or complain for the sake of complaining. But if it's legitimately worse than ever, as it appears to be for Zbot34, it's not only worth knowing, but it's worth knowing what device you're using. In this case, it looks like it's an iPad. And then Cab Omination. We'll look at these and probably end the video here so that we don't make it longer than it has to be. Since the parry timing is seriously messed up, I reparried like 5 times. Now it fails literally every time when trying to parry against Winter Soldier and Realm of Legends or Story Quest and even in the Event Quest. I appreciate your game, but this is really irritating and pressuring. Please look into this, and I will not ask for compensation. But if you want to give, then give quest compensation. Consider rejoining the game once the controls are fixed. Even heavy attacks controls are messed real bad. Stellar says again, the parry is even worse now. Parry nearly always fails. Why did you do to make the problem even worse? And all you are asked for is to fix that dang bug. Wayworn 2525. Just now my champ is dashing backward on its own without touching the screen. It's pretty difficult to complete combos. And then Crystal Man, I guess his post is on a different page. We could keep looking at posts, but basically those of you are seeing the same things going back, especially this week, in this case April 12th, that for some summoners, parry is worse than ever. For what it's worth, on my end, I miss inputs every once in a while. I fight on a new iPhone, but I haven't noticed anything so bad that it's been jarring. Every once in a while, it'll feel like reverse controls or inverse controls are active, even though they're not, where I dash forward instead of back or vice versa, and that can be very frustrating. But I also acknowledge that I don't do Alliance War, and I do map 5 of Alliance quests, so the stakes are pretty dang low versus what you all that are hitting me up are having to go through in the more difficult content. Thank you for the feedback once again. As always, my channel exists to be a mouthpiece, a vocal projection for your ideas, your thoughts, your feedback that Kabam can't censor, and I appreciate that it still continues to exist after about 5 years. Have a great rest of your Easter weekend. Thanks for watching.